Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anita. I'm doing a hybrid page for Story 13. It will consist of three 3x8 cards. So I'm starting with this one that will house my photos, as well as this one for my journaling. These ones are both from the 2025 kit. And I'll also have this quote card, which is from the 2018 kit. I'm not sure if it's still available in the digital format or not in the shop. But obviously any quote would work, anything you want to do, it's not that big deal. I chose this one because I want to change out this word piece to something different. We'll get to that after. And then this is kind of where I'm headed. So I'm going to add this four so that I have journaling for each of the photos. The four is from the December Daily 2024 Numbers Are Awesome 7 set. It's still available in the shop in physical and digital, as far as I know. Um, and then, like I said, the photos will be here. And then this quote card, I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And then I'm going to separate all these words so that they match up a little better. And then, like I said, I'm going to change this piece. It's going to get changed out. It's going to say pottery. Um, our family went to do like paint your own pottery over Christmas. It was really fun, and that's what the story is going to be about. So I'm just going to change it so it says merry and bright and pottery and love. And yeah, so let's get started. The first thing, I'm going to get rid of this stuff because we don't need these right now. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'd like my background to be that creamy color. So the first thing I'm going to do is come select that background color and change this background to that color. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I like this the way it is, but I think I'd like to have this more gold color. That color is in the kit quite a bit, and I've used it already. So I'm gonna change this up so that this is that gold color. I'm just gonna use my magic wand here and just bucket fill this, and then that is done. I'm going to bring it and put it into this one. More of a placeholder at this point. We're going to work on that one a bit later to put the photos in. So the first thing I'm going to do is the number card. So I'm going to separate each of the numbers into their own layer so that I can move them around if I need to on the full-size page, because I'm pretty sure I'll have to. And I'm also going to recolor them so that they're the same colors as the rectangles. So I'm going to start with the one. I'm just going to use my magic wand tool again, and I'm going to layer via cut. So then you'll see it's over here. If I turn off the background, it's over here on its own layer now. And I'm going to bucket fill it as red because that is the first color over there. And then we're going to do the number two. Oops. Have to be selected onto your background to make this work. And layer via cut again. Now we're on our own layer over here. And that color is yellow. So we're just going to bucket fill the yellow. Then the number three, all we have to do for it is make its own layer, because it is already that color that we need. Oops, background layer, layer cut. And then we're going to add this number four and resize it so that it matches these other ones. All I'm doing is pulling on the diagonal so that it resizes in all directions. you don't want to pull on these ones. It'll, unless you, I mean, not saying that you don't want to, you can make it, pull this out so you can see. You can make it taller, but I don't want to. Or you can make it skinnier if you wanted, whatever. I'm just gonna hit X because I don't want either of those. I just want it to stay the way it is, but be smaller. So we're just gonna pull on the diagonal. And I'm just gonna line it up so that it matches the top and the bottom of the three. And the proportions are what it's supposed to be, so it should be just fine. Just gonna bring it down here where I can see it. So it's obviously already on its own layer, so all we need to do is recolor it. So I'm gonna come back over to here and choose with the color picker tool that dark green color that we want. And I'll come back over here and make sure I'm on the right layer. And I'm just gonna bucket fill. Oops, I can't bucket fill, I guess. There we go. We got it. So there's that. So now I'd want to put the numbers on my canvas. So we're going to come over here, and if you right click on this layer, you can go to duplicate layer. This is it, layer one copy. And then I want it to be on, I named my canvas December Daily 2025 Story 13. So we're just going to click on that and click OK. And you'll see it will show up on my canvas. So, oops, not what I wanted to do. So we're going to go to the two, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to duplicate layer, come here, hit OK. All right, so we're going to do the third one. So we're going to duplicate layer. We'll come to here and hit OK. So that one's there, and then we're going to do 4, duplicate layer, send it to our document that we want. So now they're all over here. They're all in their own layers. I can move them around to wherever I want. I can still resize them, and I may do that. They are kind of large, but we'll see. I kind of like the boldness of them, so they might stay as is. We'll see how much journaling I end up with. So now this one, I already did the Mary um, off camera, so I'm just going to leave it. I already have it on its own layer here. And then I'm going to next do the and. So I'm just going to use my magic wand tool here. And I'm going to select it. Make sure you're on the background. And I'm going to layer via cut. So now it should be on its own layer, and it is. And then we're going to come back here, and we're going to select the bright. So right now, if you look down here, I have this set to new. So each click I do, it's going to make a new path essentially. But if I click on this one that says add, it will then keep my previous selection and add the next. So that's what I want. I want to be able to select the whole thing and then make sure I'm on my background. I'm going to go to layer via cut again. And that should bring all of that. I'm going to change my background color here to white so that when I do this, these are white instead of the color that they were, so it's not so noticeable. And then we're gonna get this one and do the same thing, layer via cut. That one is good. So now see when I move this over, you don't see because it's the same color as the background essentially. The piece one, I'm not gonna touch just because that's not the word I want anyway. And then and this one, and I don't really need three of these ands. I could just duplicate them, but it's fine. And then the love, we're gonna click on each letter and do the same thing, layer via cut. Oops, not on my background. Go on the background, layer via cut. So if I get rid of my background, now I have all of those that I want and they're all on their own layers. And then in here, I'm going to I'm going to just change the background to white so it's easier to see. Oops, not on that layer though. We're going to make a new layer. Bring this underneath. Make a new background. There we go. So in here, I'm going to type the word pottery. I'm gonna bring this down just a bit here so that, so let's just type out pottery. Not sure I spelled that right. Yeah, I did. And we're gonna bring it up above everything else. So right now, I have it at 20. Oh, I have it on white. Let's change that to black for now. There we go. Now we can see what it says. I'm gonna make it just a bit bigger. Let's try 48. There we go. So this is one of the fonts I'm considering. Add a line. Um, move my canvas over here just a bit so we can see. So if I scroll through my fonts, it will show me what it's going to look like. So this was the other one I was considering. It's very similar to what's there, but not quite right. So I decided I don't think I want to use that one. I think I'm going to go with a script. Let's see what this looks like. So I like that one, but I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'm going to do, let's try 48. Maybe even a little bigger than that. So let's do like 58. That looks to be about the same size. And then I can always just use my little slider here too if I want to make it bigger or smaller. That looks pretty good right there. And then we also need to recolor this one. So all these ones. So let's start. The Mary is bright, and so is the bright because that's where we took this one from. And then the pottery will be the green, and then the other one will be the green. So let's go over here and choose our greens. So we have both of them. Come back to here. So if I do pottery, let's see if I can do this as a fill layer. No. So let's try this and go. So I could have done this as the right color while I was already in when I was typing, but this will work as well. It's all good. And then choose this one again. And oop, I did pottery the wrong color. Womp womp. Okay, this one's supposed to be the dark. I'm just gonna bucket fill this. And then let's go back and choose the pottery again and make it the green I actually wanted. There we go. So now I have my new word in there, as well as recolored them. And I don't have to worry about the background on here because it's already on here. So I'm gonna bring each of these in as separate layers as well because I do need to move them around. So I'm just gonna do like I did before. I have a feeling I have this pottery wrong, but we'll find out here. Let's find out right now. So duplicate layer and bring it into the story and go see what this looks like. Oh, I have the love on there as well. Okay, let's go fix that and delete layer. And let's come back over here. I recolored these somehow on the same one. I'm just gonna undo until that goes away. There we go. So right now I'm on the love. See how I have, so this is where I made the mistake. I have the love with the marching ants, but I'm on the pottery um layer. So when I recolored it, it put it on that layer. But that's not the layer I want. I want it on the love layer, which is down here, right here. Layer 6 is the love layer. So now we're going to recolor that one again. Just bucket fill. Oops. There we go. So that's done. Command D that. And then I'll do pottery and make sure I'm on the pottery layer. And then I'll recolor that one. There we go. So that's fixed. So now, or it should be fixed. We're about to find out. I took that one out of there. So now let's just start here. We'll just start at the top and work our way down. And same as before, duplicate layer. December daily story is my destination. And just keep going until you have them all done. Okay, so we'll go back to our main one here, and all our layers should be here. So we have Mary, whoops, and Bright. We'll bring that over. And we have pottery. I just need to, let's see, love. So that one's there. Accept those changes. And then pottery. This one is an and. Gonna click on that and bring that over. Here's the pottery. This one. Oops. Got two things selected. That's not what I want. All right, so we have all of those. So obviously, I don't like it like this. It's not, the words aren't big enough. So what I'm going to do is select all these layers by going over here to the layers panel and hitting shift. And I'm just going to select all of these. Or, so now you'll see that my bounding box is around all of them. The other way to do it, and the easier way to do it when they're all in a line like this, is to click up here and just drag down, and it'll select all those layers. But if you were doing, say you wanted the number 2 and these ones over here, then it'd be easier if you did this, and then you'll come down and choose the other layers that you want by hitting Command. If you hit Shift, if you wanted the 2 and then say layer 7, it's gonna choose all the ones in between, which is not what you want. So Command, I don't know what it is on a PC because I only use Mac, um, but Command on a Mac will allow you to pick and choose which ones you want. But because I want this whole line, I'm just going to click and drag so that will um, select all of them. And I'm just going to pull these out until I like the size. So thinking about there, I guess. Let's just bring these back in. You can't see the ones up here. They're still there. Um, they're just not visible. So we're going to find them over here by clicking 6. So there's layer 5 there. You can see the bounding box. And then if you click on it, you can then bring it down in. That's layer 5. And then we need that word bright, which should be this one. Click on that and then just bring, or Mary, sorry, not bright. Bring that down. Okay, so they're not all quite lined up. So what I'm gonna do is bring the love down to kind of where I want it. And I'm gonna put the Mary where I want it. Then I'm going to see if I can line them up using the align tools down here. So I want to distribute the centers. So I'm gonna try that and see how that worked. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'd like the bright to be down just a little bit, I think, and maybe the pottery down just a little bit, but otherwise that's not too bad. And then they look pretty lined up side to side here as well, so that's not too bad. But I also need place for my holes, so I'm going to just shift everything to the left just a little bit. There we go. I don't know why that bounding box is there. There it goes. So, Mary and Bright and Pottery and Love. So that is pretty much the setup for my page. So the next thing I'm gonna do is bring in my photos and write out my journaling. All right, to mask my photos, I'll just zoom in here a little so you can see a little better. All I'm gonna do for this one, because it's a fairly simple shape, not too complicated. I'm just going to use my rectangle tool here, or shape tool. I have it set to rectangle, yeah. I'm going to put the crosshairs over here in the corner, and I'm just going to drag it across and down, just so it's outside of that white area, so it covers it all up, but isn't going too far over. And then I already have my photo I want open for this one, so I'm just going to uncheck that. I would normally just take it from the photo bin and drag it up. And then we're just going to click on this and size it a little smaller. And making sure my photo is up above that rectangle I just made. We're just going to check that. And we're going to option click, and that will mask that into the shape we just did. Now, obviously my photo is still a little big, so I'm just going to drag the little corners down, and then that looks not too bad. So I'm just going to commit my changes and go to the next one. So just going to do the same thing here. The rectangle tool, shape tool, you can make whatever shape you want. Do my little rectangle. Always make sure that you're above what you're doing. Like if I were to click down here and do my rectangle, it's going to be underneath the paper, and that wouldn't bring it into the right spot, obviously. So I'm gonna go up here to shape 2, and for this one, I have my photo down here. Drag that up. It comes in very large. I'm just gonna size it down a bit here before I bring it in. This one I can't make super wide, um, just because of the way I took it in portrait mode. Uh, about there, I guess, not too bad. And then my next one, I already have open, I believe, yeah, right here. So I'm gonna make it just a little smaller. Actually, I'm gonna hide that again. Do my rectangle first. Go. Open this. I'm gonna bring, it's underneath the box right now, so I'm just gonna just slide it up in the layers panel so that it's above. Oops. My selection tool. See how that looks where it's at. Not too bad, but I don't want her face in that. I think this is where my number, I'm going to put my number here. So I'm going to just make it a little larger. I just more or less want to see her mug and then his kind of the detail little hand there. And then I got, like I said, I think I'm going to put my number here. So that looks okay. So I'll commit those changes. And then I'm going to do my next one. So see how I didn't get it quite lined up. You can still see some white. So I'm just going to make sure I have that layer selected, and I do. And I'm just going to use my arrow keys to bump it down. There we go. And if, say, I made it like way too big, like it was over here, you just can change the layer underneath here. I'll show you on this one. So right now I have the photo selected, but say it is a little bit wide over on this side, the photo is. So I'm going to click on the rectangle layer. And I'm just going to bump it over so that it's just to the edge of the green. And now I have more green showing than I did before, the appropriate amount, but my photo, it automatically takes the photo with it because it's bound to that box underneath. So for this one, I just need to bring my photo in, which is right here. And click on the corner and drag that down so it's a more appropriate size. Kind of about there. My photo, I brought it in to the bottom here, so I'm just gonna drag it up. So I'm just clicking and holding my mouse down and bringing it up to that shape I just made. So it's above that shape, and now you can see the photo. I'm just gonna hit Option and click down. I can drag this to kind of where I want it. Nudge it over just a little smaller. So you can see all of them. There we go. So now my photos are in. The next thing is to do my journaling. So I want my journaling to flow so it's in this space here as well as down here. I believe in Photoshop, like the full Photoshop version, you can make a path for your journaling to flow into. In Photoshop Elements, there's not really a way to do that that I know of at this point. So what I'm gonna do and what I would normally do, I've actually got all my journaling done and I'm just gonna open it all up. I'm not gonna go through all of that tedious work with you, but I take my uh, journaling, my text tool here. I have it set to American typewriter at size 11. My lettings at 11. I'm just going to change the color to black here. And I'm going to click and drag and make the bounding box here. That will give me journaling. I can then type in here, and then I'm going to make another one just underneath that one, and I can make it as big or as little as I want. I'm just eyeballing it here. It'll look fine no matter what. And then you can change it if you wanted to. Down here, you can make it centered, or if you wanted to center it over on that side, but I chose to keep my left side, left justified on over here. And then you can then click on the bounding box here. So if you double click onto here, you're in your text tool. From here, you can change your journaling to whatever you want. You can change your font, you can change your size, you can change the color, all of that stuff gets done in here. But what I want to do is I've got all my journaling typed out, but I want to make sure that the space in here, say I had put this box way up here, and it looks kind of funny because there's a big gap in here. So what you're going to do is come out of the text tool and come back over here to your selection tool. Then when you click on it, it's just like any other shape or any other image, you can then move it around. So I'm just going to bring it down to the bottom of that one. I can use the mouse pad like this, or I can use the little arrow keys to make small adjustments. So I'm just going to bring it down just to the bottom of the one. And then this one, I can then move up just enough to make it so that the space in between the sentences or the lines are exactly the same. And then it looks like one full text box. So that's what I've done for mine. I'm just going to open them all, make sure I've got them uh, in kind of the right spots here. So there's my journaling all finished. So now they just wrap around each one. This one, I kind of got a little close to the 3. So I'm just gonna go over here and push this down just a little bit, just so it's a little less close. And that one I think is fine. I had a lot to say down at the bottom apparently, but that's okay. So from here, I'm going to remove my photos. I'm going to put them on a separate canvas and print those out on photo paper. The rest, so we'll get rid of the photos here. So these won't be on the canvas. They're going to go to a different canvas. And I'm going to print all of this just on a bright cardstock. I will meet you at my desk to finish this one up. Welcome back to the desktop. I've got everything printed. My photos are on photo paper. The background is on Astro Bright's cardstock. I decided I'm going to stitch down beside the photos with that gold thread, and I have my number picked out. So I'm going to do the sewing off camera here. Um, but I just did a straight line of stitching, you can see from the back here, along each side of the photo block, we'll call it. I'm just going to tie off my threads. It's a habit of mine essentially to tie it off. You can just use tape, it's not a big deal. But what I didn't do was trim down my background to the 8.25 height before I did my stitching. So you'll see me going back and forth. I'm just making sure that my threads are far enough back from where I'm going to trim that I don't cut through the threads. It's not a big deal if I do, it just means that they might pull up, which not a big deal, but I kind of wanted them to stay put. So I just took a little bit of extra time just to make sure that they weren't going to get cut off. So when that's done, I'm going to pull out my big trimmer and just trim this down. Now mine is not a true size of 8.25 by 11 because I'm backing it on to my story 12, which is a little shorter. It's the same, it's 8.25 tall, but width-wise, I think it was 10.75 possibly. Not, I can't remember for sure, but you can see me trimming the width here a little bit. So obviously you can make your pages whatever size you want. So whatever you're working with, that's the size you're going to want. So I'm just making sure here that it's going to fit properly on the back of the other one before I go ahead and adhere my photos. So here I'm just using the big trimmer to trim down the longer sides of the photos. And then you'll see me switch out trimmers. I find it easier to work with my smaller little Tim Holtz trimmer when I'm using small photos. And it can cut like razor thin um, strips off of anything to make them just a hair smaller if you need to. So I like that. So I'm just trimming each of those, just double checking to make sure they fit inside the squares nicely and that they're fairly straight. Not too worried about it. I'm just eyeballing for the most part here and just taking off little strips here and there just to want to be able to see a lot of the color as well, but don't want any white showing, obviously. So now those are all good, and I'm just going to adhere them down with my ATG gun. The adhesive in the ATG, I use a knockoff brand from Amazon, but it sticks really, really well. You'll see me here pull up a photo to straighten it out just a bit, but you have to be really careful with this one. It's not as forgiving as other tape runners sometimes. So I find I need to make sure that I'm getting it all lined up before I actually push it down. And then I'm just going to adhere the number with a little liquid adhesive. So that's Barely Arts glue that I have in my glue press right now. And I'm just going to stick that down. And other than putting some holes in here, this layout is done, which is awesome. Um, First, I'm going to adhere it down to that story 12, again with the ATG gun, just making sure that the adhesive is nice and close to all the edges. I like them to make sure that they're adhered down nicely so that they don't pull up, the edges don't pull up from one another as we're flipping through over and over again in the album. And I'm just going to use my trimmer this time to straighten up the edges. I find though my trimmer is not cutting through both layers. I don't know if I need to change my blade or if it's the track in the trimmer. I've had this one for a long time, so I'm sure one or both need to be switched out. I should probably do that soon to see if it makes a difference or not. And then I'm just taking my 6-hole punch and punching the holes. And that's it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.